Hello. Welcome back, everyone. Today, I have a specific topic I want to begin with, and if there's any questions or whatever, people can chuck them in. But this is finding joy and purpose in the journey, right? In the actual day-to-day activities of your practice towards enlightenment or your goals or success or whatever. And the idea that it isn't really as much about the specific items that you're going to get or the specific outcomes, and you will come across this, when you really, really want, one particular thing, if I just got this new BMW, if I just had that one, girlfriend or boyfriend, if I just had that relationship, if I just got married, what you'll really find, honestly, and it just seems to be the truth, and it's, across the board, people say this, and I've experienced this too, you realize that it isn't really what you thought it was going to be, It's just another sort of glitch of experience. It's just another sort of stimulus, and it loses its significance almost right away. And that's why you'll hear world champion athletes like Tom Brady will win the Super Bowl, and it's yeah, he'll celebrate for the evening, and he'll have a glass of champagne. It's literally it's the next day. Maybe one day later, he'll get up, he'll start training again, he'll start reviewing what could he have done better, da-da-da-da-da. Because you realize that's all you can do. That's your purpose here. That's what we're doing. And why bother getting distracted with another idea? Why bother thinking that something outside yourself is going to somehow validate you? Don't even let that enter your mind. So someone like Tom Brady, when he wins the Super Bowl, he knows that, excuse me, he knows that it's not, it's something that he accomplished, and it's something special, and it's something that he's happy about. And he is going to give himself, congratulations, because you do have to do that. You do have to be okay, I did a good job. But there's nothing else to be, milked from that, in a way. What else is he going to really get from that, from just sitting around all day, being I won. After a while, that becomes empty. It's you have to find the significance within yourself, and by the, incremental little improvements that you're capable of making, right? To your own life, to your own game, to your own craft, to your own, understanding, to your own compassion, whatever it is you really want to focus on. And that's where you're going to get the true satisfaction, right? And that's what we're after, because that other shit, that instant hits, the way you feel when you're in a situational confidence, when you're surrounded by a bunch of your friends, and you're the cool kids at the party, or you're sitting in the cool area, right? You get that, but there is a cost to that, right? Whether it's at the expense of the other people who feel not part of the cool kids. And I'm not saying you can't be a cool, happy person with your friends. You can, but you don't want to be relying on that. You always want to be relying back into yourself for what I would call core confidence. So even if you are in a position where it's you're just in a position of being a fucking boss, you're Tom Brady, you won the Super Bowl, you're fucking the king of the fucking world, you're the king of the city, and you're going through on the parade. Yes, embrace that. Yes, enjoy the experience and be happy for that. You worked hard for it, and all these people came out to celebrate, and it's fun for them, and it's fun for you, and it's an enjoyable experience. But you're only taking that for what it is. You're enjoying it for what it is. You're not taking more from it. You're not yes, I am a fucking champion, And now I need to prop this up, right? Because then you begin to prop it up. But I am a champion. But I'm a champion, right? Let me go back and look at that magazine that said I'm a fucking champion. You can't be doing that. You just have to accept that I am a champion currently in this moment. That's great. What are we doing next? Like, it's always going to be that, like, quiet, as I've heard Tyler from RSD say, success is really a quiet, simple process that you do yourself consistently. And I'm sure Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, any legendary folks could tell you that. You simply do these things with a degree of passion and even faith that they will pay off. I believe it will happen. And if you aren't convinced of that, sometimes that's where I would bring in the idea of, I talk about this actually a fair bit because this is something I did. It's the idea of burn the boats, right? Like, you burn the boat. You recognize that you don't have another choice. There is not really anything else you can do. It's like, for Tom Brady, when he gets on the football field, he's like, I'm gonna win. Like, I've left no other options. It's happening. And this idea of burn the boats, it motivates you, and it gives you the idea that I'm committed. This is my life. Like, this is my turn. This is my time. I exist. It's happening. And I guess originally it came from, I believe, the Battle of Troy, where Achilles, I'm not sure if this is like part mythology or part like historical fact. I'm not sure. You can check out the movie Troy with my obvious twin brother Brad Pitt. Whatever, shout out to Brad Pitt. And he plays Achilles. And the point is that when they get on the beaches, it's like the troops are like, well, can we win this? Like, I don't think we can win this battle. And they're like, yeah, we're going to win because we just torched the boats in the harbor. There is no escape. We're winning this battle, or we're going to die on the beach. And I can resonate with that. It's like, especially if you're in, ideally you could preempt that and improve your life before it got to that point, so you could maybe you wouldn't have to be so severe. But for a lot of people, they're so far gone that you need to do that. It's like, maybe you need to go down to the jungle and drink ayahuasca. Maybe you do. Maybe you do need to sell your house and sell your car and live in the woods in a tent. Maybe you do, right? Maybe you do need to cut off 90% of the people you know, throw your TV in the garbage, and fucking give away half your money. Maybe you do, right? Like, I don't know. But a lot of times something like that's better than the norm. It's better than basic. It's better than fucking mediocrity. It's like, once you get stuck into mediocrity, it's fucking quicksand. It's poison. It's absolute degeneration of the soul. You know, you don't want to be mediocre. No one wants mediocre. You don't want it. People don't want to give you money for mediocrity. Like, cool dudes don't want to hang out with mediocre girls. Attractive women don't want to hang with mediocre dudes. It's just, mediocre's not working for anyone. We don't need mediocre. Mediocre didn't put fucking man on the moon. Mediocre didn't create fucking the internet. Mediocre didn't win the fucking wars. We need excellence. We need progress. We need success. We need hard fucking work. We need enlightened people who are growing, who are learning. That's what we need. That other shit, mediocrity, bullshit, distraction, fucking junkies, pathetic behavior, that's just, you're just in the way. You're just in the way. You just need to get it together. Just get it together. Start right away. Make it happen. Go listen to that fucking YouTube video with Joe Rogan. It's like a 5-minute clip where he says, be the fucking hero of your own story. Listen to that shit. Literally do it. Don't fucking even pretend. Don't turn this fucking video off right now. Go listen to Rogan's video. It's like 5 minutes long. Just type in Joe Rogan motivation. Be the hero of your own story. Listen to that fucking a dozen times. Just do it. Just go do it. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, actually go do it and listen to it 12 fucking times in a row. Just put it on repeat and do it. Just accept that's reality. He's telling you the truth. Make it happen. Right now, today. It's the truth, man. And you want to just let that seep into your fucking bones. Let it seep into your fucking soul and just accept the reality that that's your life now. You're going to do it, because if you try to buck the system, the universal sort of system. Someone was asking me this actually last night when they were saying, like, they were outside, like, smoking a joint and stuff. They're like, oh, here you go, man. I'm like, actually, I don't smoke weed anymore because there's nothing wrong with it. It's a very valuable tool, and I very much support it, and it's great. It's a great, like, ally. It's a great medicine. But I was given a message by the fucking gods during my own plant medicine journey, I suppose you could say. I won't get too much into that. But I was given a clear message of, look, Luke, your time with that medicine is over now. That's what happened. It's over. It's not up for debate. It may be a time later in your life where you can experience that again, but for now, you're done. And my point of this is that when you get this message loud and clear, that you don't have a choice in the matter. The fucking gods are telling you. The universe is explaining to you, this is your path now. All that other shit, you're not doing that anymore. And so, me with, say, for example, like using marijuana, like, the message was clear. With that, you're done for now, man. Whatever took place there, that became an unhealthy relationship. You're done. The universe isn't systematically giving you little answers to what to do, but it's telling you that shit's over, figure it out. Now you got to do something new. And that's, I guess, kind of what I'm saying. The universe is speaking via me, obviously, because I'm just such a fucking genius and I resemble Brad Pitt so much that I should be working a second job as his fucking stunt double. Okay. Okay. But yeah, that's the point. It's like I'm giving this message of, like, all that shit you were doing before, the excuses, the bullshit, the fucking lies, the talk, just, it's over. You're done. Nope, it's done. I don't know what's left in that, and that's why it's so painful for people, because you're tearing bullshit away, and what's left is not much. Not much. You ain't left with much. You ain't left with much. And that's all you got. It's like, for example, I remember a story of, I think it was the concentration camp Auschwitz during the Second World War. It was a major concentration camp. And the guards there, I think they were all in the SS. And so they had some of the concentration camp prisoners, like, working in their homes, which was, like, located very close to the camps. So the like, officers and the guards a lot of them were living close by, and then they would work at the camp. And so they would bring the prisoners into their home sometimes to, like, clean or whatever. And one of the prisoners survived and was explaining the story of, like, look, like, one day I was in there, like, cleaning up the room of this, like, SS, like, Nazi officer, and he, like, came out of the shower and he was, like, just getting dressed, and the prisoner was standing there and he was watching the officer, like, get dressed, and he was like, man, this officer, without his fucking uniform, without his fucking hat, without his fucking stripes and all his fucking medals and his fucking boots and his sidearm and his bullshit and the fucking saluting each other, and without all that packaged around him, and without other people, like, validating with him, like Nazi salutes and stuff, he was like, this fucking Nazi officer just looked like it was just like a decrepit old man, you know? It was like there was nothing really there. It was all just bullshit and lies. It was just like, this was just a regular fucking dude who was doing some creepy fucking messed up shit, and that's all it was. And without his uniform and polished fucking boots, it was like, dude, you ain't got shit, man. And that's like, once you tear away all, like, because this guy was living on full-time situational confidence with a fucking saluting each other and all of it. And it's just like, the point is that you want to get rid of all that. You want to embrace the reality of, what are you actually doing? And see, if he actually had done that, it'd been like, oh my God, like, I'm killing tons of people, like, this is all wrong. But he didn't want to do that. But the point is, and that's why I always say, I don't know if people know this, but I'm a big fan of history, right? That's why I bring up things about history that's why I always say like this is the purpose of why, for example, like we ended that, say, like the Nazi regime, like we ended that so that we could be here right now and do this, okay? So that you could actually right now be like, oh, okay, I can become a better person. Like that's what I'm gonna do now. Like I'm gonna do it. This is my purpose. So I would say that like 70 years ago, like your grandparents had to like go to war. Literally had to march away with a rifle and fucking helmets on and all this type of stuff. They had to interrupt their lives and go to a war to end like bullshit and insanity. Okay, you don't have to do that. Luckily, right now, for the most part, some people do, and you know what? That's great if you're doing that, but not the massive amount of people. Very few. So most people, you don't need to do that. But you still have an equally difficult. You still have a difficult journey ahead of you. You still have a difficult challenge. You still have a war within to fight, and you actually need to do it. It's like you're not. There's no option for you to be like, no, fuck that. I'm not doing it, because then bullshit and insanity is gonna win. And it's not as clear cut as it was like 70 years ago. It's like you're not going to be able just to like sign a paper, get a gun, and go to war and be like, now I'm doing the right thing. They did. That was the option back then. Now it's not. Now you have to win this war, win this battle from within, and you actually want to do that. Like you actually need to do that, and you just want to accept that. You want to admit that that is the journey now. That's what you're going to be doing, and don't let anybody else like convince you that it's not important. It's fucking important, and you're going to do it right away. Everything else is mostly just distraction and nonsense. People will try to convince you like, oh, don't worry about that. Just like, oh, you just marry that guy, even though you don't really like him. Just marry him. Like, oh, it's okay. Just smoke a cigarette. Just drink a beer. Just watch mainstream television. No, no, nope. Not gonna work. No, nope. You have to be willing to say that. Like 90% of people that you know, 90% of influences you have are probably fucked up and bullshit and wrong. You have to be willing to just like systematically let them know you're fucking full of shit. Get away. No, but you should shut the fuck up. We're done. And just you may have to do that like endlessly. It could be like your mom or like your best friend or like your neighbor or you're like your who knows, like your sister or your brother or your boyfriend, I don't know. But it could be any of these people that, in a way, they don't really want you to change. They want you to be the person who they kind of understand and know because that lets them feel better. That now they don't have to really change. But that's not your job. Your job is not to validate someone into not changing. Your job is to change and express yourself in the way that you actually are meant to do it. So when someone wants to, it's like they don't, if someone's like trying to keep you from changing and keep you from growing and becoming better, they're like, well, you're upsetting me because you're changing. Good. Good for you. You should be upset. Motherfucker, you should be upset. Like, perfect. It's not up to me. So you have to be willing to do that. Like, it could be 90% of 90% of the things and people that you may have to change all that. It's like you just endure that. You're just like, yo, this is my path now. Well, I don't want you to do that. That's okay. I can live with that. Oh, nice. Finally, we got one on here. Brenna, what's up, girl? Yeah. So that's the purpose. Is you actually can take the time to make this transition in your personal life and actually commit to the idea that yeah, I'm gonna make these changes. I'm actually gonna learn to express myself in a better way. I'm actually gonna grow and change and do these things because anyone who anyone who's kind of just propping up that former lifestyle, it's why they're not gonna be there. They're not gonna do anything for you. It's like people who are like in gangs and stuff, and then they like spend like their whole like early part of their young adult like running around like killing people and like selling drugs and hurting people and hating people and stuff. But it's like after a while, like what happens? Like what if they go to jail? It's like you hear this stuff all the time. Guys getting wrapped up in that, and they spend huge chunks of time in jail, and they're like, yeah, no one came to see me. It's like, it's the same. It's like nobody's gonna care. It's like your friends will convince you to get married to someone you don't really like, and then they'll all clap and sing for you, and then it's like 2 years later, you're sitting there in this relationship you don't really want to be in. It's like those people didn't. It's not like they're sitting there with you being like, "Oh, you're right. This wasn't a good idea." They're not gonna care. They just wanted it when it made sense and it was convenient. Yeah, they were on board. But as soon as it's not convenient, they're not gonna care. That's the cold truth of it, and that's good. You want the cold truth. That's the one you want. You want to embrace that more. Embrace the most brutality aspects of reality you can, and then understand within that there is like a beauty, right? There is like a stark beauty to the uncaring nature of our earth and the universe at large, because it is an actual coming from a place of love, but it's like a malevolent love. It's like a kind of just sort of love that you can spread, and it's kind of uncaring, I guess you could say, but I'm just trying to explain in a way that it's good inherently. It's like you have to look at when the lion eats the gazelle. Classic example. Like, you can sit around all day long and be like, "Oh, that's mean. That's terrible. We have to stop the lion from eating the gazelle." But that's the process, right? That same person who's like, "No, that's mean. Don't eat the gazelle." They're the same person who says that. Then they'll see the lion having babies and be like, "Oh, the baby's so cute. The little lion's so cute." It's like, okay, yeah, it is, but you weren't going to get that little baby lion without killing the fucking gazelle. So what are we doing here? It's like you can't have both. Right? You can't have both. You got to accept it all as a picture, but you can't be sitting there and saying, "Eat the gazelle's bad, but the little baby's cute." Well, you weren't going to have one without the other. So why don't you just accept that and learn to live with that like duality, learn to live with that paradox within yourself. And people don't want to do that. Like, they don't want to do it. That's why, like, within our society now, everyone just wants to like say something and like be right about it. Like, no, I'm right. Like, but they don't ever want to have like hear like nuanced thoughts about it. That's why hearing like Rogan and Cameron Hanes talk about like hunting and shit, and like the like nuanced points of it is very interesting, because it's not at all what you have heard in like the mainstream narrative of like people just show like a picture of a dead lion. They're like, "Oh my god, that's so bad, that's so sad." But like when you actually listen for 3 hours and hear Joe Rogan and Cameron Hanes talk about it, what really happens, the real underlying factors and like the nuances of this whole topic, you understand, oh, I don't know what's happening there. I don't know what's best, right? So maybe I should just step back and not put my fucking stupid face in the picture. And so you can see that with a lot of things in life. It's like maybe you don't know right away. It's like I've told the story many times already about the farmer who gets the horses and all that. You go back and look at the old videos. I've already said it. I said it like 3 days in a row. Go on the YouTube one, Mindful Development. I have all the videos saved on there. But it's like maybe you don't know yet. So just chill your fucking self out. And it's like maybe whatever bullshit you went through in your life and fucking nonsense and all of it, maybe it actually just led you to this point right here. Right? Maybe that's it. Maybe it took all that to get you here. To listen to me with the fucking beard talking about this type of shit. Maybe, because what you'll see is the universe provides interesting characters, I guess you could say. Like interesting characters to teach you, like interesting like anyone who has like sort of a Zen message to spread is not a perfect person. They're a character. They're developed in like kind of a funny way. It's like, I'm not perfect. Like Rogan's not perfect. Eckhart Tolle is not perfect. Like none of these people are perfect, but that's what allows them to manifest as reality. It's like in some Zen sayings, I think Alan Watts talked about this. There was like this student who went to a Zen monastery, and he was like totally stunned and like terrified when he realized that the Zen master would like sneak out and smoke a cigarette. And he had a girlfriend, and sometimes him and the girlfriend were getting in fights and stuff. He was like, "Oh my God, this is terrible! Like, how could this be?" It's like, dude, no. Like, he maybe he would cease to even manifest if he didn't have like some personal quirks, you know. So you don't know. But yeah, so that's basically, I guess, the point of today's video is you want to just embrace the journey, you know, embrace the struggle, embrace the path that you're on, because you don't know yet what is good and what is bad. It's like the whole point of like the movie Inception. That I think as well come from like a Zen idea where it's like, very quickly I'll tell it, like, if you had the opportunity each night to dream whatever dream you wanted, and it was 100 years every night, and you lived for 100 years, so that's every night you had a lifetime. So you've lived 100 lifetimes, and in each lifetime you could do whatever you wanted, any amount of money, any amount of fame, any amount of fucking musical adventures and girls and cars, and you were a detective, and you were a fucking adventurer, and you were a princess, and you were slaying dragons, and all of it. After 100 lifetimes of that, at some point, you might actually begin to want a surprise. You know, you might want to bring something into the picture that was outside of your control for adventure, for an actual adventure, because you've already done everything else. You've already had so many pre-planned adventures. And each night you would start to bring in something a little more outlandish. Maybe the next time I could actually, for a while, my whole shit could fall apart. And then I'd figure it out. Wouldn't that be interesting? And who's to say that after 100 lifetimes, you wouldn't, at some point, begin to dream the actual life that you're having now? Right? That you would get so fucking far out on the edges and so confused and so lost that that's the thing that actually was going to excite you, because that was going to be your path back to really who you were. And you're living it now. So you created this for yourself. So you actually did it because you knew inside yourself that you'd already made so many adventures that you needed a really fucking crazy one to really get you excited. And that's what you're doing. You now. The fucking person who you are now, fat and out of shape, and your life's fucked up, and you got no money, and it's bullshit, and you're listening to me talk this retarded story. Yeah, you wanted that one. This is your chance. So pull your shit together and get started. It's going to take time. It's going to take fucking months. It's going to take years. It might take decades. It might take your whole fucking life. Excuse me, but what else are you going to do? You're already here. So strap your shit on, and let's do it. Do 3 minutes of meditation today. 3-3 challenge. 3 minutes of meditation 3 times a week for 3 months. Boom. Do that shit. Get fucking started today. Hit me up in the DMs if you're doing it. Who did 3 minutes of meditation today? Who did it? Someone hit me with a message. I'm doing a fucking hour. Straight up. So when you sit down and do your 3 minutes, you're going to know Luke's cranking out a fucking hour. Jesus Christ, it's crippling to even think about it. But you know what? I'm going to do that shit. Because I did it fucking yesterday, I did it the day before, I did it the day before, the day before, the day before, the day before, and so on and so forth. So I'm going the fuck at it, just like you're going to go at it, just like Cam Hanes is running up and down that fucking hill, just like Rogan's getting in the float tank, just like fucking Tom Brady's getting up and learning the plays and all the bullshit, just like every great motherfucker throughout history got up and did the shit that was necessary, because we are all standing on the shoulders of giants. We all do not descend from weak men and women. We descend from strength. That's why we're here. Got it? Good. That's the end for today. That's a half hour. Thank you for anyone who's watching. Leave some comments. Like this shit. If you want to see some more, you got any questions or comments, leave it. Alright, that's all for now. Peace out.